Reverse logistics is not just a process of return, but a journey towards sustainability, customer satisfaction, and continuous improvement. In today's lecture, we will look at complexity of reverse logistics, which is an important part of modern supply chain. This process involves returning product from the customer to the manufacturer for a variety of reasons, including recalls, returns, and recycling. Reverse logistics, unlike traditional logistics, presents unique challenges, primarily because supply chain are typically designed for forward movement of goods. Now consider the world of e-commerce where reverse logistics is especially common. Companies such as Amazon and Zalando have revolutionized customer service by offering lenient return policies, resulting in a significant increase in return rates. This increase in return necessitates a strong reverse logistics system to efficiently manage and process returned items, ensuring customer satisfaction while remaining profitable. Companies in the electronics industry face the challenge of e-waste, which is rapidly growing as a result of short life cycle of technology products. Apple and Samsung have developed sophisticated reverse logistics process to handle the collection, recycling, and disposal of electronics products in accordance with environmental regulation and sustainability goals. In the automotive industry, reverse logistics takes a different approach, particularly when it comes to battery return and recycling, which is becoming increasingly important as the industry shifts towards electric vehicles. Tesla, for example, has created a comprehensive strategy for battery recycling, demonstrating its commitment to sustainability and responsible waste management. So the landscape of reverse logistics is constantly changing thanks to technological advancement and shifting customer behavior. The use of cloud-based system, big data analytics, and artificial intelligence have transformed reverse logistics, making it more transparent, efficient, and customer-friendly. How the reverse logistics process works. This isn't just the opposite of what we normally do in supply chain. It's a complicated and ever-changing process that shows how customer behavior and environmental responsibility are changing. The process of getting goods from the final customer back to the store, distributor, or manufacturer is called reverse logistics. This could be for a variety of reasons. Even though each of the situation for return is different, they have all the same goal: to get the returned goods back on the market or get rid of them in a responsible way. Take case of online shopping, where return for some items like clothes can go up to 50%. This high return rate brings its own set of problems and opportunities. It's not enough to just send things back. Product must also be re-evaluated, reprocessed to minimize losses and maximize value, whether that means reselling, refurbishing, recycling, and throwing them away. Now let's break the reverse logistics process down into its most important steps, focusing on real-world examples and business strategies. So the first process is starting the return. When a customer decides to return an item, the process starts. To handle this first step, companies need to have clear return policy and good system in place. This includes figuring out why the item is being returned and what should be done with it. Will it be fixed, refurbished, recycled, or just thrown away? Moving the item back to the warehouse or processing center is necessary after the return is made. This stage involves logistical considerations such as packaging, labeling, and choosing the most cost-effective and environmentally friendly transportation method. Then we have processing and inspection. When the item arrives, they are checked to see what's wrong and to figure out what to do next. This could mean putting things into group based on whether they can be sold again, fixed up, or recycled. Then we have disposition. At this stage, decisions are made about what will happen to the returned items. It's possible for a product that can be sold again to be fixed up and put on sale. If it needs to be recycled, it will then be sent to the right place. And if it has to be thrown away, companies have to make sure it's done in a way that does not harm the environment. Now talking about analysis of data and feedback. The last step is to look at the data from return process to find trends and places where things could be better. This could lead to better product design, better quality control, and better return policies, which would lower the number of returns and their cost. There are a lot of problems with reverse logistics because normal logistics systems are made for one-way flow from the manufacturer to the customer. To stop this flow, you need to change your strategy and get more resources. But if done right, reverse logistics can become an important part of businesses' long-term strategy for sustainability and customer service, turning possible losses into chance to improve efficiency and build brand loyalty. In conclusion, any company serious about sustainability, cost reduction, and customer satisfaction would do well to familiarize itself with reverse logistics process. Making a system that adds value to company and the environment is more important than just moving goods backward. One of the hardest things about reverse logistics is that most system and methods are made to move things from the supplier to customer. When we think about reverse logistics, on the other hand, we are moving in the opposite direction. This reversal can cause a lot of problem for operations. For instance, up to half of the things that people buy online or through mail order end up being sent back. This is especially true for fashion industry. This high return, along with the need for good system to handle them, can have a big effect on how well operations run and how happy your customers are. There are different types of costs that come with reverse logistics, such as communication, documentation, replacement, and disposal cost. Communication cost could include things like the cost of registered mail or courier service to let customer know about a recall. The cost of documentation includes keeping track of items that are sent back. The cost of replacement includes making, shipping, and restocking the new or fixed item. The cost of getting rid of things can be high because they have to be inspected, fixed, and recycled or thrown away. Also, the level of urgency that comes with reverse logistics can change a lot depending on the type of return. One example is a product recall because of safety concerns that needs to be dealt with right away so that dangerous items are taken off the market. Taking care of less important things like unwanted items or recyclables don't need to be done right away, but it still needs to be organized and quick so that the warehouse does not get cluttered and waste time and money. The complexity of distribution channels is another thing to think about. Finding goods and returning them gets harder and costs more as the network gets bigger. Product traceability systems that work well are very important in this case because they help with quick recalling or returning products. But once the goods are in hands of customer, it can be very hard to find and get them back, which can lead to higher transportation cost and more problem with logistics. So to deal with these problems effectively, many companies like Swedish truck maker Scania AG are designing their product with recycling in mind. This makes it easier for materials to be returned and used for something else. This method not only has less of an effect on the environment, but it also meets the changing needs of customers and government rules. So in conclusion, reverse logistics has its own sets of problems and cost associated with it. Companies can improve their reverse logistics process by understanding these complexities and using best practices. Now we are going to talk about the best practices and strategies in reverse logistics, which is an area that is becoming more and more important for sustainable business practices and customer satisfaction. First, it's important to know the reverse logistics isn't just a bad thing that has to be done in retail. It's a chance to make customer more loyal, cut down on waste, and boost your bottom line. A big competitive advantage can come from streamlining the reverse logistics process. So the first step is making your return policy clear. A clear, concise return policy is one of the most important part of reverse logistics. This should be easily accessible to your customer and include a clear path for returning product. Being open and honest can help clear up any confusion and make customer happy. Making use of technology is another step. When it comes to managing returns, efficiency in a modern warehouse technology is a key. Using a WMS system that supports reverse logistics can cut the time and money needed to process returns by a huge amount. These systems can help manage and keep track of inventory in real time, giving you a clear picture of whole reverse logistics process. Then we have control and inspection of quality. See, when an item is returned, it should be carefully checked to see what's wrong and what should be done next. This could mean putting it back on the shelf, sending it back to the maker to be fixed, or recycling the parts. Quality checks are very important to keep the brand's reputation and customers' trust by making sure that only products that are still in good shape are sold again. Now talking about smooth processing and restocking. See, processing returned items quickly is important for keeping cost low for reverse logistics. As a best practice, you should have areas in the warehouse set aside just for processing returns and train your staff to do this job. By streamlining this process, products can be quickly inspected, processed, and if necessary, put back into stock so that they can be sold again. Now, not always a product can be damaged, right? Sometimes the customer might not like the design. So in that case, you can put them on shelf and sell it to another customer. Now moving on to customer service and communication. It is very important to communicate clearly with customer during the return process. This means keeping them up to date on the status of their return and being clear about when they can expect their return or replacement. When it comes to this area, great customer service can turn a potentially bad experience, that is a return, into a good one, which makes the customer more loyal. Then we have analyzing data for continuous improvement. See, lastly, using data analytics can help businesses figure out what's wrong with their product or the return process by showing them trends in return. This information is very helpful for making smart choices and getting always better. Figuring out why people are sending things back can help you make your product better, make your customer happier, and eventually cut down on returns. So in the end, reverse logistics can be hard, but this best practices can help you turn those problems into opportunities. You can cut down on cost of return and improve your company's reputation and customer loyalty by focusing on efficiency, customer satisfaction, and sustainability.